Hey guys, welcome back to the Crypto Corner. I know it's been a few weeks since I've made my last video. I've been really busy with other things. I wanted to pop in today to talk about some recent action that we've been having over the past couple of days that has surged the interest in the crypto market. And it's kind of funny because I'm starting to see more talk of this on some of the news networks, a ton on the stories on the internet, which I typically don't really pay much attention to any of that garbage. But it's interesting to see a lot more talk coming in about crypto and how the bear market has ended and we are on a new run and we're going to skyrocket and this is it. Excuse me, I'm just kind of getting over a cold, so bear with me if I'm clearing my throat. Anyway, so here's my take on some current things that are going on in the market. And of course, before I dive too deep into this, none of this is financial advice. These are only my opinions on what's going on. So please take what I say with a grain of salt. Make your own decisions. I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not your financial advisor. So please, this is just my perspective on what the market is. I encourage you to look at other traders and other possible YouTubers, vloggers, whatever the case may be, and see what they're saying, and then you formulate your own decision. I know this is what I do. There's a lot of traders that I follow myself on TradingView, on YouTube, that, just it's good to look around, see what everybody else is saying, and then maybe you'll agree with them, maybe you won't agree with them, maybe you'll take bits and pieces from what everybody else is saying, and you'll formulate your own idea. So with that being said, here's what I have kind of come up with for my opinion, and it may line up with some of the other traders that are out there. So anyway, we are looking at Bitcoin right now. We're currently looking at the Coinbase chart. And you can see here that the massive downtrend that we had starting all the way back in December of last year appears to maybe have been starting to break. So if we extend this line out to about right there, you can see we had this massive candle that came in. I believe this was on Monday, April 2nd, so that would have been a couple of days ago. Today currently is April the 4th, 2019. So we had this huge candle that came in back on the 2nd, and it ended up being $1,000 candle. We haven't seen $1,000 candle since I'll talk about that in just a minute. But that's a huge candle, and again, I try not to pay attention to the news, but when something significant like that happens, it's kind of neat to try to research that a little bit to see, okay, what happened, who made what move to make this happen. And evidently there was someone overseas, over in Europe, I believe, somewhere. I think there was some type of an institutional buyer made 3 separate 6,000 Bitcoin orders on different exchanges, and I believe they market bought them. So 6,000 Bitcoins per exchange. That's going to make this price skyrocket. So you're talking almost 20,000 Bitcoins. So of course that's what's going to happen. Anyway, don't get caught up in that. The plan is never to beat the whales or beat the boys. Just try to follow along with what they're doing, kind of understand what they're doing, and ride the tide, right? So anyway, so we had this massive candle that came up through here. And of course, you can see price went all the way up in this candle, all the way up on this specific candle right here. It went all the way up to almost 5,100, or it may have even broke 5,100. I'm not 100% sure. But since then, we've kind of followed through with this move a little bit. And honestly, what a lot of this is FOMO buyers right now. So these are people that saw this move, are freaking out, are now thinking, okay, I've got to catch this before this ends. And they're getting in here, and now the price is kind of going up a little bit. So, but what's interesting, this candle here is the majority of this is one buyer. Now, when I say one buyer, it could be one institutional buyer, whoever pulled the trigger on this large candle, that's one buyer. So take this candle out, and we're left with these two candles here, which would put us up, in the $4,200 to $4,300 range, which would have been, again, right in line with the same area that we were at here. So I'm not going to discount this, but just keep that in mind that this one candle changed the game for all of this that we were fighting. If we didn't have this, we would still be in the range that we had been fighting for the better part of three months. So when you see something like that, you want to step back and you want to realize, okay, why did price stop here? Okay, this is a very kind of a weird area. You can see on this side of the chart, there's really not much as far as support and resistance right through here. It's kind of weak. So why in the world did it stop here? So what you want to do is you want to zoom out, and you always want to look further left. So there's a little bit of support resistance here, not really a ton, a little bit. So let's go back and see where we're at. So if we go back further, price is currently at, see, I don't know if you can see that blue dotted line. Now, this chart is actually kind of cluttered up with a bunch of garbage that I was trying to look for levels. So this blue dotted line right here, not the solid one, and maybe I can actually change that to make this a little bit easier for us to follow. Maybe I'll make this one red. Let's call it red. Oops, I did the wrong one. Let's turn this one back to blue. And I did the wrong blue, of course. And see if I can make the price line. I don't even know where to do it now. Here we go. Let's do this. Okay, so the red dotted line there, that is our current price action. So we're not, let's see here. We're just a little over $5,000 right now. So that's about the area, close to the area where we initially stopped at. You can see we're right just a little bit above the red dotted line right now. So what in this area caused us to stop? Well, you can see we had a little bit of retest right here, which was about the $5,200 range. There's really not a whole lot, honestly. So maybe that's the possible level that we stopped at. But here's something that's really interesting. So check this out. So if we go over here and we draw a trend line from where I'm looking at this one candle right here, right? So if we draw a trend line and we draw it up to where it stopped about right there, if I can draw a straight one, you take this line, so this line that I drew represents this candle that we shot up. We take this over here, look at that, it's the exact same. So is this just recycled capital? So this candle here that was sold off back in November 18th, whoever plural that may be, is that just being buying back into the market? It's very possible. That was a $1,000 candle here, $1,000 candle here. And of course, this is what kicked off a lot of this. So what a lot of people, a lot of our traders are speculating is, okay, we had a $1,000 candle here. We, excuse me, we consolidated out here a little bit, okay, which we are doing currently right now. Then we continue down. So if we can draw this out, let's say this consolidation right here is going to be this consolidation here. So let's draw another candle from here to here that we did there. So let's draw this up here. Where does that take us? It takes us right up to this $5,800 mark. Let me actually mute my phone. Sorry about that. So now this is extremely significant because we all know that the $6,000 range right through here, 58 to 6,000, that is going to be essentially like a brick wall for Bitcoin. This level is going to be probably the biggest level in Bitcoin's history, possibly. So could this be setting up for consolidate out here, shoot the price up again to this $5,800, $6,000 level, and then a massive pullback? I think that's very likely, very possible. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to draw out these zone boxes. So consider these, I kind of drew them like a traffic light, so people could easily look at them and say, okay, we're in zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. So this area right down here, this green zone here, this is where we initially capitulated down to, and we traded within this box for the better part of, what, 2 or 3 months. So this area here, I could actually probably bring this level down just a little bit to the tops of these wicks, but we'll go with this. So there's a lot of levels within each one of these boxes, but this is kind of like a temporary safe zone for Bitcoin to be traveling within right now. Of course, there are levels in here, like, possibly here would be a level here, another level would be in here, but these are all levels that are kind of, I wouldn't say out of the woods, but it's kind of like a safer zone, if that makes sense. Now, once we get up in the zone 2, it's yellow because it's a little bit more risky because there's not a lot of support in here. Now, it looks like we're trying to build support right here on those levels I showed you back on the left-hand side, but it's more dangerous. We could still break up, but once we get up into the third zone, zone 3, red, it's very, very, it's a scary zone, okay? Because you can see how tight that zone is here. It's really, really risky. So once we get up above there, in this red line here, this solid red line, this is the area of that $5,800 to $6,000 mark. So, it could, soon as it gets up here, there's going to be a ton of sell orders and shorts in this area right here. People will be shorting this area like there's no tomorrow. So once it gets up in this area, be expecting of a massive pullback. There will be some sells right here. If it breaks this box, if it gets up in this area on the first attempt, I mean, that would I think it would shock everybody, which maybe that's what would happen, because typically a lot of times, or sometimes in this space, it does the complete opposite of what everybody thinks. But just knowing how strong this level is, it's going to be very difficult to be able to surpass this box, especially on the first attempt. So I would expect possibly another run up to this area, to this 58 to 6K range, and we'll get a massive pullback. So be very cautious when we're getting up in this range right here. We could come back down. What I could maybe see something happening is we could consolidate out here for maybe another day or so. Maybe we could rise up. We could hit this area right here, maybe even a touch higher, and then we will get rejected down, and we could come back down into zone 2 and go, let's find some support. Either one, the support that we're making right here, or we could continue down to what I'm thinking is in this area right here into zone 1, the $4,100 to $4,400 range, because we've confirmed that this is pretty significant support. We busted through as resistance multiple times. We could come down and we could use that as now support to come back up. Then we would make our way back up, maybe consolidate out here, go in for another run. We would probably get rejected again. And then one thing that I really think will be happening is I think we will end up, we need to retest our uptrend. Okay, so if we draw a line, I'm just going to keep it red just to make things simple. So this line here, we tested this uptrend line here back in December 13th. We tested this line, came down, we tested this line again on February 8th, but we haven't had a third touch of this line yet. We really need to touch this line again to test it, okay? So one of two things. Either one, we could get rejected off of this area right here on our first run up, and we could bring this line back down My computer is now locking up. I don't know why it just did that. We could bring this line down, and it could touch this line here. That would give us 1, 2, 3 touches, confirm that as support, and off we go. Or 2, we could come back down, maybe come back up, fail that attempt, come back down. I really would like to see another test of this $3,100 range. I think that we need to have a good double bottom for, I hate to say bear market and bull market, okay, because I honestly think that I don't think we're in either right now. I think we are possibly in a transition zone. I believe that maybe our bear market has ended, but we are now going to be facing a multi-month transition zone. We're making the transition from the bull to the bear. I'm sorry, from the bear to the bull, and we need some validation and confirmation of that, be it another touch of these lines. What I would prefer is to see some good double bottoms, another touch of that $3,100 range, maybe possibly even a third or fourth touch of this $3,100 range. That to me would say, okay, this is definitely our bottom. We are transitioning into a bull market, and then we could go from there, and that would give us a nice floor, a nice footing to be able to push to the upside. Currently, though, let me get rid of some of this junk that's on here. Clean up the chart a little bit. I don't like having a bunch of garbage on the chart. So what we're looking at right now, we are currently at a little over $5,000. The one thing that screams to me right now is the RSI indicator. We are on the daily chart right now. We are so high on the RSI. We're at 89 on the RSI. Anything above 70 is overbought. So we are so overbought right now. We need to come back down, and we need to get back into the middle of this RSI to kind of cool things off just a little bit. You can see this blue line that I drew inside this RSI chart. You can see that kind of that 48 mark is kind of right in the middle. You can see we like to be in that area. We love that area. It's kind of the middle of the ground. There's plenty of room to move up. There's some room to go down if we need to. But once we get up this high, I mean, if you scroll back in the chart, the last time we were at 89, when was the last time we were at 89 on a daily? Right here we were at 69. The last time we were that high was back in December 6th of 17. We were at 91. Okay, so we are right in the exact same area that we were right before the massive pullback in 2017. So be very careful here, guys. Also, the stochastic RSI. You can see we had a daily cross on the stochastic RSI. The last time we had a cross on the daily RSI, then it was up above this, this level here, this 80 level, is we had a one here, which resulted in a pullback. It looks small, but we went from around about $40,000 or $4,000 all the way down to around $3,800. The last one, but that was even, we weren't as high as we are right now. We were only at 89 here. We're now over 100. We're at 100. The last time we were up this high was right here. So we were at about 41.40 when we dropped all the way down to 37. So every time that we were up this high on the stochastics and we had a cross, it resulted in a pretty decent pullback. So, and I hate to say this because it's like you're giving both situations, but it's so true. So either one, we could go up or we could go down. How's that for technical analysis? That's pretty brilliant, isn't it? But I guess look for confirmations on either way. If we start seeing volume coming in, and we're rising to the upside, then okay, maybe our target will be this $5,800 range. So that's we're at 5,000, so that's an $800 swing. But if we're seeing volume decreasing, which we've seen a little bit of less volume today, then I could see a pullback to at least allow this RSI to kind of cool off a little bit, get back into the middle of the road. Much like we did here, we kind of sold off a little bit. We're kind of consolidating out here. We're just kind of letting this thing cool off a little bit, and we're getting back to the middle ground. And once you see that RSI get to around this range here, this 40 to maybe 50 range, then maybe we would have enough juice to be able to go higher. So that's my takes on the current market right now. I hope some of this makes sense. If you guys like this video, if you guys don't agree with something in this video, if you agree with something in this video, please leave it in the comments below. If you would like to see something different in these videos, by all means, let me know. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and leave your comments below. I'd like to know what your guys' thoughts are. I mean, I don't claim to know everything, and I don't know everything. So if you guys see something that I'm not seeing, or if I am saying something that you don't agree with, leave it below and let's talk about it. So anyway, I will see you guys in the next video, and I'll see you then.